It is the video is saying that it's recording.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic then. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Then it's working.
It's working.
All right, sorry about those technical difficulties, but I'm really, really glad that you all are here tonight because, we're getting closer to the beginning of the school year. And there are a few things that students can be working on right now. If they're not working on it, at least thinking about and also knowing that they have some tasks that are coming up when it comes to making some plans for after graduation. Today, I'm going to kind of go over the things that you can be doing now and in the next month in August, and just kind of give you a heads up on the things that are coming up in September. Remember, this process is really long, and if we look at it all at once, it can be really overwhelming and cause a little bit of panic. But having it broken down into these like little bite-sized pieces is has been really helpful. So that way, you as parents who are here know how you can
been going a while.
And then also
You gave us an invite to the wrong
what you
thing.
need to be doing and need to be working on. All right, so it is now July. Here you are, July 19th at this Next Step Zoom. This is the thing to be doing right now, is to be here getting this information. And we've also got a few things that I talked about in the previous meeting, in the June meeting, when it comes to researching possibilities for where you want to go after you move on from Crosstown High School. And then also creating that list where you really figure out which schools are, they fit into each category, whether it's a safety school or a target school or a reach school. And I'll talk a little bit more about that again in a moment. And then also brainstorming that with the essay topics. Different college applications will ask different essay questions. If you are applying to a school that uses Common App, you have certain questions or prompts to choose from. So looking up what those potential essay questions or prompts would be is a really, really helpful thing to go ahead and begin doing. For you seniors who are here, this is a really great opportunity. And for some of you, really the first opportunity to take a moment or many moments and reflect back on your growth and your life thus far when it comes to the really unique experiences that you have. And the things that you've learned and the ways that you've grown. I was actually talking with a rising senior today, and one of the things that he said when he was talking about his essay was the idea, he thought, I don't have anything interesting to say. I don't have a good story. I don't really know what I would talk about. And I think that's kind of a normal place to start, because a lot of us don't think about our experiences as being interesting or valuable, but truly they are. And that's a huge part of who you are, and somewhat a part of this process and the story that you'll tell to the different institutions to which you're applying. So getting familiar with those topics is helpful, and that's something to be doing this month, in the next couple of weeks before we reach August. Now, when we get to August, we've got the Common App, which will open on August 1st. So that's something that students can familiarize themselves with and maybe kind of begin the process of filling out parts of it. On here, I did put the first day of school, which is August 8th.
Leah, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt. We are not seeing your screen share. Do you want to try it? Do you want to try sharing it with me and see if I can maybe do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so sorry. Let me stop this and then I'll send it to you. I'm not sure what the issue is. That's really strange. I haven't had that problem before, but here we are. All right, I sent it to you, Ginger. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. That is confusing to not have all of the information. Okay. Thank you, Ginger, for recognizing that and speaking up. I'll pause for a moment just while we're getting that figured out. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Beautiful. Thank you, Ginger. Let's head down to that second slide if that's possible. Yeah. So in this month of August, which is the next, Ginger, if you'll hit it one more time, thank you. We're going to, hit the ground running on the first day of school with giving students the rundown on the whole process of requesting letters of recommendation. We will go through connecting if they're going to use the Common App, connecting it with Naviance so that all of their essential documents like transcripts and letters of recommendation and our school profile, all of that really relevant information can easily be delivered to the different institutions to which they're applying. So we'll go over all of this in August, but this is just part of the heads up on what is to come. And then we'll also really dive into drafting and then eventually revising that college essay. And we have some exciting plans for another collaboration with the Rhodes College Writing Group, who helped our recent graduates with their essays last fall, and many of those seniors from last year said that that was one of the biggest and best helpers in their application process, was having, a workshop to attend with Rhodes students who could give them feedback that was constructive and productive, so that they could feel comfortable and confident in their essays. And then again, this is just kind of the heads up because we keep it bite size. In the month of September, there is an opportunity to take the ACT, and that's totally optional. It's just at area schools. So for students who want to take it again, they can. We're shooting for that deadline of the very end of September 30th, for the final draft of their college essay, and then also for the teachers to submit the letters of recommendation that they are writing for the students who are applying early, in particular. So on to the next slide. Okay, so I said earlier I was going to talk a little bit more about the college list, and I'm just going to go over this quickly because, I have discussed this before, but just to remind everybody, your college list is about 8 to 10 schools, and they're divided 3 ways. And they're either safety, target, or reach, and that can be a combination of any of the possibilities listed here below. We have had students in the past who have both trade schools and a 4-year college in their list because their passions go in so many different directions. And so what they're doing in creating this list is creating a list of choices, because it can look a number of different ways. The reason why it says July up here is because it would be nice to have this done this month, but we'll follow the student as much as we can in along with deadlines in this process. So I have on the next slide an example of a college list, just a sample college list here. This is like, kind of how you want to break that down. So when I talk about like safety and target and reach, this is an example of one. So here we have a number of 4-year colleges, but also some 2-year programs, 2 of which, the second and third on the list, are Tennessee Promise Scholarship Schools, which means that students who graduate from high school in the state of Tennessee can go to these schools for free. They meet eligibility requirements by maintaining their GPA, and it's a pretty incredible program and opportunity to be able to do that. But I also have on this list other colleges. Some are small liberal arts, and then we have some that are in New England and New York City. So this is kind of an example of what a college list could look like. Do you have to have 9 schools? No, you can have 8. you can have 10 or 11. Now, if we get more than that, it gets a little bit, you get a little spread a little thin. So I would recommend somewhere between 8 and 10, 7 and 11, just do your best. One and all, do your best with that. So that's just an example of how you can organize them. Oh, and you see that in the target schools, like I think it's 4, 5, 6, and 7. I have listed first choice, second choice, third choice. Really, your first, second, and third choice schools you want those to fall into that target category, because ultimately, that's what you're aiming toward. So, consider that when you're putting together your list. The last thing that's really important, if you already have this list, or if you're still working on it, that's very important to know, is that this list must be entered into each senior's Naviance account. And there's a category in there, I think it's on the next slide, Ginger, where it says colleges I'm applying to is the category that they would fall under. So you just want to make sure that they are added to that list. There you go. Colleges I'm applying to is a category in there. It's a list that you can make, and you can basically just add schools to it. And the reason why you want to do that, again, is to make sure that all of those documents that we send, those essential documents, their transcripts and school profile and all of those important things, they end up being sent through there. And that way we are able to expedite them, make it happen really quickly without confusion, or, it's an easy way to communicate there. Okay, moving on. The Common App essay, which I mentioned before, the Common App releases like a bunch of different prompts earlier this year, and I shared them with this graduating class of 2023. Back in the spring it didn't feel so relevant, but here we are beginning senior year, and we want to take some time to read through the prompts. I have an example of one in a moment, but this is basically just the list of students, what you can be doing to prepare, and then parents, you can see this and say, okay, have you done this, my darling, my dear child? Ways for you to prepare: read through the list of prompts and decide which one speaks most to you. I believe there are 7 that Common App offers. And again, like, those are not the only essay prompts that exist in the college application world. You'll want to, when you look at the college applications for which you're applying, especially if they don't use Common App and they have a different question, you'll just want to make sure that you're answering them accurately. You can go ahead right now, students, if you are ready, like, you can go ahead and begin to outline and draft that essay. Like, if you read one of those prompts and you are struck with the inspiration and you're ready, go for it. Don't feel like you have to wait until August when you're back in school to get started on that, because what can happen is that if you go ahead and draft it, if you're ready to do that, when you come to school in August, you can keep moving in this process. You don't have to wait, and we'll be able to offer you feedback. And of course, that's after you reread and make all of your own revisions. Sometimes when I write, I know that a lot of our students do this too. You want to let it marinate for a little while and then come back and revisit it and read it again and read it again and read it again. And of course, ask trusted people around you to help you with that. Moving on to the next one, I've got an example of a prompt for you all. I believe, like, Common App, this is one of the 7. And so, you can take a moment to look at this, recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure, and how did it affect you? And what did you learn from the experience? When we get back to school in August and we're really working hard on this reflection and this writing, this is something that we take a lot of time with. It's not something that, like, we write and then we're done. We really write this with care, both because we want it to be, we want to help you make sure that you're sharing your best work with these institutions, but also because this is a really amazing and sacred time in your life, students. You know, this time is really important and special, and we want to make sure that you are able to really, truly, deeply reflect and then also express that and use this space for that. So we look forward to, in August, when you come back to school, we really look forward to working on that essay with you. Ginger, do you mind moving on to the next slide? Thank you. Okay, so we'll go back to school. We're going to organize college planning when you come back, just so that that way, you know, you understand the timeline and the deadlines and, you know, like the why it's important to just like keep up with them and stay aware of the deadlines. There are some of them that can be a little flexible, and then there are others that are just not at all. And I want to make sure that, you know, we are all on the same page and that everybody understands why, you know, why some of the deadlines are really strict, and how you can set yourself up. Like, even if you're not sure about what you want to do, even if this whole meeting, you know, is giving you butterflies in your stomach because you're not ready for it, and that's okay. You know, we'll work through it, but we'll also make sure that you're prepared for what is to come. So we'll organize college planning when you come back in August. We will go through the process of requesting letters of recommendation. That's another thing that we use our best friend Naviance for. And it's really easy. You'll be amazed. But we just want to make sure that we are intentional with that. And we'll also work on our essays with the help of the Rhodes College Writing Group that I mentioned before. And so that way, like I said, you will be sending your best work, that you will be sending a great representation of you. You know, there are also other opportunities. I know for sure that many teachers at Crosstown have volunteered themselves to read and offer feedback on essays as well. So this is not the only, you know, layer of feedback that you will get. We like I said, we just want to make sure that you're offering your best. Yeah, and then also, you know, that final draft of the essay is still we have a little bit of time, but it is the end of September. We want to try to wrap those up and tie the pretty ribbon on them at the very end of September so that they're ready to be sent to your institutions that you're choosing. So yeah, August is an exciting and busy month, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. Sorry, my slides are crashing and they're not keeping up. Oh, right. Okay. So sorry. One last thing. Begin filling out applications, including the Common App. Okay. So in August, like I said, Common App opens. Most colleges open up their application period in August, and if not August, it's usually September 1. But that, like your essay, is a process, and it's not something that you sit down and do in one night. You know, it takes a little while. And one of the things that can take a while when you're filling out your applications is the sections about what courses you have taken in high school and what extracurriculars you have done in high school. So I wrote on here because it is relevant. Like, you will need your most recent transcript, and we don't expect you to procure those out of thin air. I will make sure that, you know, every student, every senior has their transcript, whether it's digital or a paper copy or maybe both. So that way you can have that to look at when you are beginning that process of filling out the Common App. Now, you know, any application that you're doing for college, well, most of them, because I can think of some that are pretty short, but most applications, they take a little while. It's not something that you just sit down and do quickly while you're having a snack. It's a little bit longer of a process, so you won't do it all in one day. And it's something you'll start and then revisit until you're ready to totally submit. But yes, like I said, we'll make sure you have your most recent transcripts so that you can fill out your applications and be able to say, you know, which AP courses you took, and know that all of your courses are honors courses, because those questions will come up in the applications. So that's kind of it for the month of August there. Now, like I said, there are those of us, you guys have seen this before, this shark that has no idea what it's doing. There are those of us who, are still feeling that way and are still feeling, maybe even feeling a little oppositional to this whole process. And I understand that, because this is the last year of high school, and it's hard for seniors because it's something new and maybe a little bit scary, but also exciting. It's also, hey, seniors, it's also really tough for your parents. You are their baby. They have, it was not that long ago that you were toddling around their house, and here you are making big plans to move into this next phase of your life. So please, students, please be patient with parents. We get a lot, we get feelings about this, and those conversations, are tough. They've got to keep going though. Hey, everybody, students and teachers. And I say this also as Everett has totally left the room, just left the room. My own child, my own senior has left the room. But keep the conversations going. And if they feel unproductive, just pause, and revisit it later. It's most important for everybody to know and acknowledge that this is a big transition, and we all want to be supportive of one another. And kids, I know you're not out to break your parents' hearts, and parents, I know that you want to support your kids with this, big transition. So let's all be easy on one another, and just pause and revisit it later. And then regardless of your plans, like if you are planning on, going to a four-year college and you don't, for sure you don't want to take advantage of the Tennessee Promise Scholarship, which would, be for if you were going to a two-year college, it's, we still want you to go ahead and fill that out. And I can go into great detail of a number of reasons why, but mostly because we want to create choices. We want everyone at our school to create choices for themselves. And I'm just excited for all of you all to discover, if you don't already know, if you don't already have your list, to all of the discoveries that you're going to make in the next, 4 months, 3 months. Parents as well, the growth that you're going to see is exponential and may not entirely make sense at all times, but it's pretty magical how all of this works. Yeah. So I think that might be it for me. I'm sorry, I guess my device is not, I can't see my slides, but I know that you can, Ginger. I think that might be it for me. But if you have any questions, there it is right there. That was the last one. My email is always available. Like I'm always open to talk. Parents, even if you're just concerned about whether you're concerned about your child being, not wanting to go through this process, or like you all are feeling like you're really comfortable and confident with where you are, no matter what. Like I'm here for that, and game for that. But yeah, I'm curious if anyone has any questions. We've got about 5 minutes. So let me look and see if you're welcome to put them in the chat, or perhaps unmute yourself. Either one is totally fine. We just have a couple of minutes, and I'm sorry about the cutoff. I was just having technical difficulties, but let me know.
You were just so thorough.
Maybe it might be a little annoying how thorough it is, but
Oh, it's great.
okay.
Leah and I are both parents of seniors this year, so we are in this with you.
Very much so.
Very much so.
Very much so.
Well, great job. Thank you.
Of course, of course. And you know, if, like I said, if you all have questions that like are specific to like just something that you're working on with your child or a certain path that they want to pursue, please don't hesitate to email me, because I may have the answer. Ooh, here's a great question. I may have the answer, and then if I don't, I will. Okay, yes, Shaquana Bates, we will for sure be talking about FAFSA when we get closer to October. That's probably actually one of our next things that we'll talk about in the next meeting, because we want to make sure that on October 1st, when the FAFSA for the next school year cycle opens, that everyone has all of the information that they need in order to be able to fill it out and check it off of their list. The form itself is not too crazy, but you know, we hear so much about it, which is understandable because it is free money. But you know, it's not too crazy. We just want to make sure that everybody has what they need and is able to do it with as much ease as possible. So yeah, we will definitely, as we get closer to October 1st, we'll talk about that a whole lot more. Anyone else? Any other questions? Is there a list of scholarships you think is worth sharing? Okay, yes. And we will probably talk about it in the next meeting when we talk about the FAFSA part, because this process is kind of weird and backwards, where instead of gathering the money about, or the information about money on the front end, you apply, and then the information about the money kind of comes a little bit later. So it's kind of weird and backwards in that way, but we will make sure that you all understand like how you qualify for a Hope scholarship and where, you know, and how to fill that out. And then also you'll be surprised by the offers that come directly from the institutions, because they do. That was the big shocker of last school year for sure. Okay, so I see it's 5:59. I know Ginger's got to go right at 6. So if there's anything, please email it to me. If anything else comes up, if you have any more questions. But thank y'all for coming tonight, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.